Welcome to Echo Chamber Trivia. On this channel, we tell the untold stories of the music industry and the artists we all love. The Beach Boys, sunshine, surfing, hot rods. But what if I told you one of their most iconic car anthems was a total fabrication? Not their car, not even close. Welcome to the real history, buried under the sand. For decades, fans cranked up Little Deuce Coupe, believing it was the soundtrack to the band's own asphalt adventures. It painted a picture of cool guys cruising in a chop-top 32 Ford. That car, the Deuce Coupe, became a symbol of early 60s hot rod culture. You know, the kind of machine every gearhead dreamed of owning. We imagine Brian Wilson and the guys tearing down Sunset Boulevard, music blasting, wind in their hair. It's the ultimate fantasy of Californian youth and freedom, tied directly to the Beach Boys image. But the truth, as always, is a lot less personal and a lot more calculated than you think. Here's the secret. The car from the song wasn't owned by any Beach Boy, not a single one. The actual Little Deuce Coupe was a specific, famous hot rod. It belonged to a guy named Clarence "Chili" Catallo. This isn't just some random car. Catallo's custom 32 Ford was already a legend. It had a distinctive chop top, a vibrant paint job, and it graced the cover of Hot Rod magazine in April 1962. That cover image? That was the car, the inspiration, the template. The Beach Boys didn't own it, they saw it, and they sold you the dream. Brian Wilson, the mastermind, along with lyricist Roger Christian, understood something crucial. They knew that to capture the heart of American youth, you didn't always need direct personal experience. You needed to tap into the collective fantasy. Christian, a radio DJ known for his deep knowledge of hot rods, knew all about Chili Catallo's famous Deuce. He fed Brian the details, the vibe, the feel of that untouchable car. They weren't singing about their rod, they were singing about everyone's aspirational rod. You can't fake that kind of connection to a culture, but you can borrow it. It's smart, you know? So, what does this tell us? It proves Brian Wilson's genius wasn't just in melodies. It was in capturing the zeitgeist. He saw what was cool, what people wanted, and he bottled it into a perfect 3-minute pop song. It shows the Beach Boys weren't just reflecting their lives, they were crafting a mythical California, a dreamland built on borrowed cool and perfect harmonies. The Little Deuce Coupe story isn't a betrayal. It's a window into the clever, almost commercial artistry that made them so huge. They sold you a car they didn't own, and you loved every second of it. That's power. From legendary cars, we move to forgotten personnel changes. We're talking about the founding members, the core of the sound. You know Jardine, right? The rhythm guitarist, crucial to their harmonies. He's always been there, or so it seems. But what if I told you that, just as the Beach Boys were taking off, just after their very first single, Surfin', hit the airwaves, Jardine packed his bags. He didn't leave because of band fights or creative differences. No, he left for something far more unexpected. He had other dreams, ones that didn't involve surfboards or guitars at all. Jardine's ambition wasn't to be a rock star, at least not yet. He wanted to be a dentist. Think about that for a second. One of the guys who helped start the Beach Boys, who played on their first breakthrough song, was ready to trade his guitar for dental instruments. He actually did it. He left the group in late 1961 to enroll in dental school. Imagine the conversation. Hey guys, love the band, but I've got to go extract some teeth. It's almost comical, but it shows how uncertain things were for the band in the very beginning. They were just kids with a hit, not yet a global phenomenon. And Al had a practical streak. So with Al gone, the Beach Boys needed a new rhythm guitarist, fast. And who did they find? Their neighbor, a kid named David Marks. How old was David Marks when he stepped into the lineup of a rapidly ascending band? 13. Let that sink in. A 13-year-old was now a Beach Boy. He wasn't just a stand-in either. Marks played guitar on the band's next 4 albums: Surfin', Safari, Surfin' USA, Little Deuce Coupe, and shut down Volume 2. This isn't just a footnote. It's a significant part of their early sound, completely overlooked by most fans. David Marks brought a raw energy to those early records. He was a natural, a kid steeped in the surf rock sound. His guitar work is all over those classic tracks, adding a youthful bite that, well, you can really feel. He was truly a part of the original core. Even if he wasn't there for the absolute first single, he was there for the takeoff, the moment they became the Beach Boys. To many, the band's lineup was always the familiar five. But for a crucial formative year, it was Al Jardine out and David Marks in, shaping some of their most iconic early material. But dental school, it seems, wasn't quite as thrilling as rock and roll. In late 1962, Al Jardine was persuaded to return to the Beach Boys. He came back, and David Marks, the 13-year-old phenom, stepped aside. It must have been a strange moment for David to be part of something so huge, only to have to leave. Al's return completed the classic lineup we all recognize. It's wild to think how easily a different path could have been paved. If Al had stuck with dentistry, we might be talking about a very different Beach Boys history. It's a reminder of how fragile, how often things just barely hang together in those early days. Speaking of fragile, let's turn our gaze to Brian Wilson, the troubled genius. After the chaotic meltdown of Smile, arguably the most famous unreleased album in history, Brian was struggling. His mind, once a fountain of pop perfection, was in turmoil. He was lost, searching for a new direction, a way out of the darkness that Smile had plunged him into. So what kind of project would someone offer a visionary musician in this delicate state? A stage musical, and not just any musical, one based on A.A. Milne's beloved children's book, Winnie the Pooh. Brian Wilson, the man who brought us Good Vibrations and Pet Sounds, tasked with scoring the 100-Acre Wood. It sounds like a joke, doesn't it? But it was very real. In the early 1970s, the idea was floated. Even more fascinating, his Smile collaborator, the poet and lyricist Van Dyke Parks, was slated to write the script and lyrics. Think about that. The same minds that tried to capture the sound of the universe in Smile were now going to interpret Pooh, Piglet, and Eeyore. It's a bizarre, almost surreal twist in the story of rock's most enigmatic composer. What were they thinking? Well, I mean, the contrast is just wild. Imagine the music. Brian Wilson's unique harmonies, his lush arrangements, applied to songs about honeypots and bouncy tigers. Wouldn't it be nice, have been a song for Christopher Robin? Would Pooh have had a psychedelic breakdown set to a Smile-esque soundscape? The potential was immense. This wasn't some minor cartoon show, this was a full-blown stage production. It offered Brian a chance to rebuild, to create something pure and innocent after the complex trauma of Smile. It was a chance to escape, to use his gifts in a totally new, unexpected way. A world away from surf and cars. But, like so many ambitious projects connected to Brian Wilson in that era, it never got finished. Brian did begin work, composing some preliminary melodies. He definitely put some effort in. But his ongoing personal struggles, his battle with mental health, and the sheer complexity of mounting a full-stage musical proved too much. The Pooh musical, like so much of Brian's output during that difficult decade, simply withered on the vine. It's a sad testament to the weight he carried. The creative spark was still there, but the ability to see things through was often crushed by his inner demons. This lost Winnie the Pooh musical isn't just a curious footnote. It's a poignant what-if in Brian Wilson's story. It shows the incredible, almost desperate attempts by those around him to engage his genius, to pull him back from the brink. It highlights the profound struggle between his boundless creativity and the crippling mental illness that haunted him. What kind of pure, heartbreaking beauty might have emerged from that project? We'll never truly know. It remains a ghost in his discography, a whisper of a very different path he almost took, a path of gentleness, lost to the shadows. From one treble genius to another, let's talk about Dennis Wilson. The only true surfer in the Beach Boys, the heartthrob drummer, the wild one. For years, his contributions were often overshadowed by Brian. But in 1977, Dennis released his solo album, Pacific Ocean Blue. It was a masterpiece, gritty, soulful, and critically acclaimed. It showed the world a side of Dennis that was raw, vulnerable, and deeply artistic, proving he was far more than just the drummer. Fans and critics finally saw him as a singular talent, capable of immense personal beauty. The success of Pacific Ocean Blue gave Dennis a new lease on life, a surge of creative energy. He immediately dove into working on a follow-up. This new album, provisionally titled Bamboo, The Caribou Sessions, was meant to build on the soulful, introspective sound of its predecessor. He gathered many of the same talented musicians, eager to keep that magic alive. This wasn't just a few demos. A significant portion of the album was recorded, tracks fully formed, ready for the world to hear. It was his next big statement, a chance to solidify his place as a solo artist. Dapper continued Dennis's unique blend of blues, rock, and his signature melodic sensibilities. The tracks were deeply personal, sometimes dark, always soulful. You can hear the continuation of Pacific Ocean Blue, Doc's raw emotion, maybe even a deeper dive into his troubled psyche. It's rich, intricate, and carries that unmistakable Dennis Wilson feel. The music showed an artist truly finding his voice, comfortable in his own skin, away from the shadow of his famous band. It promised more of that heartfelt honesty that made his first solo record so special. It was pure Dennis in every note. But then, the familiar tragedy began to unfold. As the 70s ended and the 80s began, Dennis's personal issues escalated dramatically. His struggles with alcohol and drugs became overwhelming. The bright promise of Pacific Ocean Blue and Bamboo started to dim. Caribou Records, the label, began to lose interest. Dennis was becoming harder to work with, less reliable. The complexities of his life simply swallowed the album whole. It was too raw, too difficult for the system to handle. This wasn't about the music's quality. It was about the artist's unraveling. A masterpiece, lost to addiction. Bamboo was never officially released during Dennis Wilson's lifetime. All those completed tracks, that follow-up to his stunning debut, remained unheard by most. It's a heartbreaking story of potential cut short, of a unique voice silenced too soon. It wasn't until much later, after his tragic death in 1983, that tracks from Bamboo slowly began to surface on reissues and compilations, offering glimpses of what could have been. It reminds us of the true cost of genius, the personal battles fought behind the public smile. A powerful, painful legacy, finally revealed. If you enjoyed diving into this lesser-known story, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit that like button and subscribe for more music history deep dives. We've got plenty more fascinating stories coming your way. Thanks for watching.